Here. Hey, Will Roberts here. Look, I'm going to put this up right now and coming to a Instagram near you. I'm very excited. Guy is going to come on. We're going to talk a little bit about the industry and verticals. So I know he'll be out here soon, but I wanted to start this off by telling you that this is brought to you, of course, by How. Hold on a second. To stick around. There's going to be a great interview coming up here. Wait, how to selftape.com. Hey, coming up here in a moment, Guy is going to be talking to me about verticals, what's going on, what he sees, what's happening. But before that, just brought to you by howtoselftape.com. I created this I started about a year and a half ago, and I'm a real techie dude, and so I put a bunch of great stuff into this toolbox. I'm not trying to talk smack about others, but I know there's people out there that have scene analysis, one product, teleprompter with AI voices. Yeah, I put in scene analysis, teleprompter with a reader. It isn't AI because who reads better than you do? I'm telling you, no one does. And how many times have you been to an audition and went, "Oh my gosh, why are they letting their assistant read it? It sounds like crap." Anyway, very excited. Coming up here in a moment here. I know a guy's going to pop on. He's in New York. I'm in Hollywood. And East Coast, West Coast. Throw down a sign. Anyway, wait, is that it? Yes, he did. With Guy. Guy, I know you were coming up. Here he comes. He's coming in. But I want to say, first of all, I like the phrase, I'm going to go live with Guy.
Hello.
How are you, brother?
Good. How are you? I heard that the East Coast versus West Coast thing.
Yeah, I was going to
Um,
throw down a sign, but I thought that's not very appropriate now. Let me ask you a question first of all, because
yeah.
I worked with Cirque du Soleil for 4 years, and the head of that was Guy
Oh
Liberté.
no,
You're not Guy, are you?
no. I'm a
I don't want to
guy.
say it wrong.
I'm a guy. A
Okay.
pure like American guy.
You are a guy. You.
Yes. I will say we do have studios in LA as well, where we have studios in Glendale. So I do come to LA quite often, and we just shot a film there. But yeah, but I'm currently in the East Coast. I am
Okay, but
based
wait, but
out of
wait.
Oak
Let me elaborate a little bit on that. By the way, Guy, how do you say your last name?
Chachkis. Like
Chachkis.
tchotchkes, like little things.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
ch say it again.
Tchotchkes. Say tchotchkes is fine.
Is
It's
that
no
really
problem.
it? Chachkis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You could do your own series, Joni and Chachkis. So, boy, you got to be old to get that one.
I don't know who that is, but I'll take it. I'll do it.
So anyway, no, I want to just elaborate really quickly before we get into this questions that I'm going to grill you with. Is that you have a studio? It is what is the URL again?
So I own Real Arc, which
Right,
is for the
demo.
past 12 yeah, for the past 12 years we've been creating demo reel scenes for actors. We've done about 15,000 scenes for actors
Wow.
across both coasts and some abroad. And we work with most of the major acting schools, on both coasts. So Real Arc is the business, and then, just seeing everything that's been happening, we've also started our vertical series launch for people who want to start their verticals. Yeah,
Yes. Okay. We're going to take those both apart. But first of all, I have to
sure.
say, how long you been in the industry?
I mean, I was a child actor, so what do you consider how long
Uh,
I've been in the industry? Yeah,
well, you look
I
like
mean,
you're 21, so that
well,
would
I'm
be.
not. Thank you so much. I am 38 years old.
Yeah, but okay. So what I consider is that if you've been in since a child, I'm just going to put us in a category called veteran actors or
Okay.
industry.
Yeah,
We're not
sure.
like we're not. This is not our first rodeo.
No, no.
So I'm saying that because you know well enough back that when people were trying to get demo reels put together, there was a bit of a stigma. People would go, "Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
you're gonna fake it," and well, now I have to say you've come into your own because that is something that I'm going to be totally honest, and I might be a little Gary V here and swear, but if you don't have a good demo reel.
Yeah.
And look, with all due respect, if you're out there and you're an influencer and you're making great shit and you got hooks and everything, awesome. That's great. But let's leave it to a professional, because there's nothing more annoying than watching someone put up stuff that just doesn't look good, because what it comes across as community theater.
Right.
And guy who spent 35 years in theater, I get it. It's wonderful that you tried to do this, but let the professionals deal with this. But have you seen a change in the acceptance of creating content for, their own demo
Oh,
reels?
oh yeah. I mean, it started when we started it. It was like frowned upon, or casting was not
Yeah.
really, considering it quote unquote real work. But yeah, as the years have gone by,
Yeah.
there's so many actors with so much talent and not enough projects, or not enough, yeah, not enough projects to showcase what they
Yeah.
do. It may not be on brand or what they want to do. So it's a way for actors to take control. And I think that casting understands now. You're not fooling them. You understand, they know when they see it what it is, but it doesn't matter. If you showcase your talent, it's all it is.
Right.
And with the rise of self tapes, and being able to do it from anywhere, and your first entry into it is by people looking at your reel. If you don't have one, you're just like not participating.
You're
I
not in
tell
the game.
people, it's like you're not fooling anyone. People know it's demo reel scenes, but no one cares if you're talented.
Right. Right.
No, they're just enjoying, seeing you, and then they're gonna call you in. You know,
Right. Well, I mean, let's be honest, out of sight, out of mind, okay?
yeah,
And I
for sure.
remember back in the 80s when I started, get off my lawn. But I remember when I started in the 80s that, what we did was we walked into our agent's office and we looked in, and they would be sitting behind a desk, male or female, and you'd see a wall of
Hmm.
headshots. And you knew that you were in good shape if you were at the top and not the bottom. And why
Well,
I'm saying that is because, again, if you don't have the correct tools, and I'm going to make a note about this because there's a couple of people out there that have this interesting theory about that. But if you don't have the correct information, your resume, your demo reel, things like that, I'm sorry, you're not even in the ball game. Okay. And
yeah.
now I just want to say that there are some people out there, and I don't mean to attack anybody, I won't give a name, but they're saying like, oh yeah, you got to spend $10,000 to coach with me, and I'm going to give you. No, in this day and age with
I think I know
social
who you're
media,
referring to. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But and I'm just saying that and that person kind of said, well, if you don't want, you can't spend that kind of money, you should be an actor. I go, well, I would have been out in 1982 then, because I don't know about you, but I don't have 10 grand to be able to do anything in my career other than maybe buy food and pay for rent. But
right.
the point is that, and again, I want to drive this home with what you do, and then we're going to go into verticals. Is that you all know what you're doing. You have a team of people. You have different studios. And what actors don't know, and I'm going to say this across the board that I see, because I built howtoselftape.com and I made it as dumbed down, and I don't mean that to be derogatory, as I could possibly make it. And the reason being is because most actors, number one, don't get out of bed in the morning. And number two, they don't understand the business of show business. And that's
Right.
something I've been teaching for years. And when
Right.
someone comes to me and goes, well, we know that you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have jack shit to be an
Right.
actor. You can say, yesterday I was a lawyer and today I'm an actor,
Which
and
is one of the problems.
no one's
Right.
going to dispute you. But if you don't have the people behind you, and especially nowadays, you can get a team like yours and you can
Hmm.
say, look, I want to do this. And you might be talented or you might not be talented. I'm not sure all that matters now. But if
No.
you got good stuff and you're like, damn, that was a great scene, it shows you that you're a comedian, or it shows that you could be great on CSI. That's what they're noticing, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. I can't add to that because that's exactly right.
Good. Well, okay, let's move on to, and if I'm missing something, please by all means let me know.
No, of course.
My guest today is a guy Chachki, and at first when I looked at it, I don't know why I thought it meant something totally different, but I'm so glad you let me know, folks. Just say Chachki. And of course his company, which I will put in this information when you're done. By the way, at the end of this conversation, everybody, I'm going to put something in the direct message that if if you want this, I actually take this, I will scan the video and get all the content and put a report together for you all that you can
Awesome.
get by giving. I'm going to put the keyword to be your company, and they
Yeah,
will be able to get this, and we'll let people know. And you'll be able to get a
absolutely.
PDF download, because what's more important now at blowing through the learning curve than getting the right people on your team? And I'm just telling you, Guy, and what I'm doing, you just got to do it, because you can spend 20 years like that and
Yes.
go, where am I?
Yeah.
And you need to know that roadmap. Okay,
Yeah.
speaking of roadmaps and what's happening currently going to Disneyland, verticals.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about verticals, but
Yeah.
that's because number one, I've been doing this a long time, and so I've seen reality TV show. I worked for Fox Kids for years, so I saw all of this happening. The minute Blair Witch came out, I'm like, okay, there goes every bit of quality that exists, and now it can be artistic. And
Right.
I'm being positive about that, saying like you can shoot your a film through your dirty underwear with your iPhone and become an Academy Award winner. To be honest with
Right.
you,
Yeah.
if you
Sean
do it right.
Baker. Sean
So,
Baker. Tangerine.
and here,
Yeah.
yeah, and here we are with verticals.
Right.
Let me get your take first of all on verticals. And by the way, what is the site that they can go to? Because at the end of this, you all need to go. If you are an actor, and I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm going to get to a point. If
No problem.
you are an actor or a creator, a filmmaker, by the way, I think they're the same people now. And you are sitting
Exactly.
yourself going, how do I get noticed? And you're going, looking at verticals, but they suck and this and that. Then go to work at Starbucks. They'll tell you exactly what button to push. Okay. So at the end of this, Guy, I
Yeah.
want you to do me a favor and tell me, first of all, tell me where we can go to that site.
You can just go to verticalseriesLaunch.com if
Right.
you want to just start learning about verticals.
Okay.
You can download the blueprint of what it takes to actually start a vertical
Okay.
series. Yeah.
So as a producer and being in
Hmm.
this industry as long as you've been in it, how did
Yeah.
you ever happen to accept verticals this early in your in your career?
Yeah. I mean, um, I started seeing this thing in 2023. This one application from China called Real Short.
Oh yeah, real
And Real
shorts.
Short is, I would say, is probably like the quote unquote gold standard in vertical making. They
Okay.
actually started about 10 years ago when Quibi was around. The
Yes, they did.
the funny thing is that, they started because of Quibi. Quibi folded, but they started because they were, scrappier. They put very low budgets together, and shot it very cheaply, and were able to hook people with simple themes, right? In the love, health, wealth kind of situation, billionaire drama, soap operas,
Nice.
etc., supernatural. And I was watching it in 2023, and we shoot about 6 scenes a day, every single day at Real Arc. So I was like, oh, that's something that we can definitely do.
Yeah.
So I was on a wild goose hunt and trying to get our own app going off the ground in 2023. And at that point, we were early. So if we did get it launched off the ground, it would have been great. But so many other things took precedence. We just produced a feature and all that. And I decided that I wanted to do something that I truly enjoyed and loved. I had a tech company before that I sold, and it was the bane of my existence. I didn't like tech.
I
So
understand.
I decided that if I were to do that, if I would have made that app, it would just be a tech thing. And I just don't, I didn't want to do that. Right. But we did, create a couple of series, a couple of shows, and launch them, and, got some great views and all that stuff. But I kind of let it go. And then, but still tracked it, right? There was nothing, and made some connections with people that do verticals, etc. And then I had a lot of experience in production and everything with Real Arc, and
Mhm.
I decided to take to the Instagrams 3 weeks ago,
Right.
because I wasn't on Instagram really 3 weeks ago.
Really?
No, 4 weeks,
Wow.
4 weeks ago, nothing. If you go to my
Wow.
earliest post with a producer guy, and I just started talking about the SAG and the vertical stuff because it was very interesting to me, and then it took off from there. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, I just, people just wanted to know more about this thing, so I decided to talk about it.
Right.
and through that made tons of connections to heads of content at these platforms. And I see a path into, I see where it's going. I know where it is right now, and I want to help people launch and sell their vertical
Right.
um, um, shows. That's my whole mantra right now.
Well, you were definitely because I've been tracking what you've been doing. I've been following you, but you've been tracking very closely about people putting up their own verticals and also talking about the elephant in the room, which is that if you make a vertical, let's be honest, you can't. I worked with Drama Box when they
Right.
were in Disney recently. I did something in October but when it was the accelerator program. And
Awesome.
my manager said, "You got to do this. They want you. They'll give you the okay, okay, cool." And we did like 80 episodes on this. It was insane. It was like doing sitcom, but on steroids. But one of the things you said, right, which I thought was very important, which is what I believe in the verticals, is you said I think you said this. You may not be able to get into Real Shorts or Drama Box or any of the others because they are very sort of like proprietary. They do their own thing. But that isn't a reason for you not to do them. Or
Right.
that isn't or yeah, the point is that there are so many things. I wish I could keep you for 5 hours, but I can't.
Right.
There are so many things to unpack here. Why you should do them, why you should be careful, what's going on. Because let me give you some basic statistics, actors. 94% of the people that are watching movies now are watching them on their phone.
Yep.
94. It within the next 2 years, they're saying that vertical content will be at about, I've seen various numbers, 10 billion to 20 billion. It's just
26
off the
billion.
hook. It makes sense.
Right.
Why? Because if we're all hooked on iPhonics, which we
Yeah.
are, and
Right.
we're sitting there going scroll, scroll, that's the new thing. Instead of squirrel, squirrel, it's scroll, scroll. And but the fact of the matter is that look at the positive of this because there's a bunch of negative. But if
Right.
you create your own thing, here's the thing that you're doing, along with you making the demos. When you go to an audition, correct me if I'm wrong, guy. When you go to an audition or you get a self tape request, you get their script with
Hmm.
their intention, their idea of who they want to play this role. Maybe they want De Niro, but they couldn't get him, whatever. And they're like, I
Yeah.
want this person to be that and that. And you try as much as you can as an actor to fit into what they want. Okay. Think
Right.
about that. When you create your own content, you can go, I'm really good at comedy. I'm really good at, pratfalls. I'm good at why don't I create a script? There are many places to go, and I'm going to get crucified for this one. ChatGPT, Claude, a Gemini, and you
Sure.
can
Yeah.
create ideas because I believe the right AI expands your mind and not,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Tilly and creating voices. That let
Yeah.
SAG try to deal with that. But
Right.
the point is that if you can do this and do something that actors aren't always consistent and
Hmm.
create something, you are creating your thing,
Hmm.
your product, how do you look best? What do you look best doing? Not doing someone else's shit. You're
Yeah.
doing your own thing. Am I right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, look, you know, we had the web series,
Yeah,
right? And even, for example, High Maintenance, which was the most successful web series because then it got picked by HBO. They made it on their own dime, not knowing
right,
that they would be able to get into HBO, right? And they got picked up by HBO. So
right.
I do believe that the distribution funnel, and I'm talking to these people, so the distribution is opening, revenue share is coming fifty
I
fifty. There are
know.
other applications and all that stuff. So you definitely should not stop yourself from making a show, or at least making what I call a pilot, which is
Yes,
6 to 8 episodes
that's
up to
correct.
the paywall, right? So
Right,
basically create up to the paywall.
right,
Um, so they can test it. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely control your future more as a creator nowadays. I mean,
right,
it's been going on for a long time. I mean, Instagram pays, YouTube pays, etc. But this is truly a time where a bunch of creative people can come together and create something um, that is interesting and that can really take off. Now, most of the genres that are actually paying off right now are the soap operas, are
yes,
those type of things. there's ways to expand those genres, and that's really the job of the creative to do it, right? So
Right.
I tell people, rather than just brushing it off, find ways to expand within the genre, right? So it doesn't always have to be, this one repetitive thing. Even if it's like the billionaire XYZ, you can still, there are ways to expand the genre. I just
Oh,
spoke
of
to someone
course.
today who has a brilliant idea to expand that genre, and we're going to be producing that show. So there's, you can work within the form right now, and you can either make stuff that you want to make or buy into what it is right now, and then when somebody calls upon you to do more, you're there, you know.
Absolutely. And look,
Yeah.
fundamentally, I just have to say that one of the issues with actors that I'm trying to help with my thing, howtoselftape.com, is that actors don't really. I mean, I remember back being in theater in the 80s, and I would go, yeah, I'm in my dressing room and where are my red M&Ms and my Avion water. Now, I mean that as a joke, but that what I mean by that is that most actors go, well, I don't know how to. I don't. You got to be multi-hyphenate nowadays,
Right.
and you
Right.
have to create your own thing. Eight years ago, I created a series called a web series, a vertical called DNA Dad, where a guy finds out, and I did it all on phone, and it was all FaceTime calls, and
Cool.
it was very funny. And I
Cool.
thought about bringing it back, but the point is that if you're not an actor or a filmmaker or creator that does exactly what you're saying, which is like, I know that this is a coffee cup, and
Yeah.
everybody knows that you got to use a coffee cup to drink coffee, but do you? And do you always have to have it up and down this way? Can you have it? The point is that you need to be thinking ahead of the curve. And the only way to do that is to, it's kind of like you say to an actor, what's one of the best tools you can do to become a better actor? I don't know, watch films. In this
Right.
case, watch the shit out of verticals and see
Yeah.
what you don't like about it and help take it to the next level. Because here's the next conversation. A lot of them are just horrendous. And one of the things I'm really seeing, and I want to address this and see how what you think about it. We spent the last X amount of years with the Me Too thing. Okay, hashtag
Yeah.
Me Too,
I saw
and
your
everybody
comment.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, everybody was like really big into like and I agree. And then we got intimacy coordinators.
Yeah.
Now every casting director I know is doing a seminar or a class on how to do verticals. When SAG went, oh yeah, we're going to make them union. Oh wait, hold on a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh at that SAG, but let's be real. But the point I'm trying to make is that what happened? Because I saw a dude my age with a young lady going dish dish, and I'm like, how, how, how is every woman not getting out of their home and charging all these content creators and saying something? What's happening?
That's a very good question. I think in one ways the industry has kind of self-corrected itself, right? I think there was a lot of this going on, and justifiably. I mean, there were a lot of people that definitely needed to be put away, put in their place, and but as with everything, it's a pendulum swing, right?
Yes.
And I think we're kind of in a place where we understand what is um, decent
Mhm.
and good, right? And what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But I also understand what in my opinion, first of all, this is an international export. It's coming from China, right?
Yeah.
Which is a whole, you know, yes, the US is the fastest growing market for it, but for a long time this was a Chinese export, and I'm not sure if their Me Too was exactly the same as,
Yeah.
over here. So the stories, as part of their framework, had a lot of the slapping and the thing, and you know what I mean? But there is something very grotesque about it, very big, right? That is almost unreal. It's hyper real, right? Where people like to lose themselves into that. Like they know they can't do this in real life. So it's part of the taboo of doing it, which is what is addictive about it. It's one of the mechanisms that are addictive. I call it the cat fight, right? In all of these shows, you'll have two women going at it, right? One woman slapping the other, and
Right.
kind of like having that. And while we know it's not okay, the taboo of it is what keeps the addiction kind of like going of watching these things. I do believe that the form is going to change, and it's going to transform and going to become more, it's going to have more to do than just that type of stuff.
Sure.
But that type of stuff can really teach us a lot about storytelling, how
Oh
much
yeah.
fluff, the context, how to write for vertical. You know what I mean? You can really learn a lot about just viewing these things. Even Kubrick said he watches crap, right? Just because you have so much to learn from it. So there's a lot to learn from these addiction arcs, from the hooks, from the cliffhangers, from, that reward system, because it only takes this one filmmaker that's watching right now, or somewhere, you know what I mean, who's gonna figure it out, who's gonna work
Yeah.
within the form but change it, and then that's just going to open up everything. You know what I
I
mean?
totally agree. Well, here's a good case in point. They're saying, and I know you know this, but one of the things that's really happening now is that they're using animals. They're
Right.
doing
Yeah.
animal verticals, and I'm
I
like, oh,
made a
that's
video
kind of
about that.
fun. Yeah,
It
I
is
know you
fun.
did. That's right. I
It's
watched
cute.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun. They
my
actually
kids can
this
watch it.
Exactly. This one person, it's so cute. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like this cat pinning another cat against the wall. It's hilarious. It's funny. So yeah, that's a person that was like, oh, maybe it's a little too like violent when it's two humans, but it sure is
Two cats.
hilarious when it's animals, right?
Well,
Um,
back in the day, you know, you don't remember this one. It's called Mr. Ed. Was a TV series with a talking horse. And it was a very,
oh,
very,
funny.
very successful '60s. I wasn't there, but the point is that it was a very, very popular series about this the horse that would talk to this guy, Wilbur or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is that I'm not surprised because I've got a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old boy, and they're like,
Wow.
"Yeah, check out this one," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, that's cool, but have you seen this one?" But
Yeah.
okay, so rounding this about. Again, I believe there's a lot of great for content creators to be able to create verticals, do something different, whatever you happen to do. Again, I've been saying this for years and years and years that I'm holding my iPhone 17 or whatever Pro Max, and it's like people would always go, "Well, but you've got Black Magic cameras and this," and I go, "So what? Look at the
Yeah.
screen size.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
basically an iPhone or you're looking
Right.
at a phone." Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying, garbage, but I'm just saying that if you're giving the excuse, the two excuses I always get from actors is like, well, we'll have to get together, do a focus group. We'll have to get together. I'll have to get a big crew. And I'm like,
No. You could
where
do it.
are
You
you?
can you can do the sprint with us, and you can have a whole show together if you like.
I
But
like that. I might call you about that one because I'm in a place called Temecula, which is about 2.5 hours
yeah,
from LA.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, no,
But
I know where that is. Yeah, go if you go to like verticalserielaunch.com/sprint, you'll see basically everything. We do 6 episodes, we shoot
oh,
it
great.
with our professional crews. We yeah, we do even the posters and we also pitch you to the platforms. So I do have like connections with the heads of content. So, basically the whole idea is to package something to sell it to them.
Sure. Sure.
So if that's of interest, that's great. But yeah, listen, it's like the barrier to entry is lower than ever.
Yeah.
There's a gold rush in this thing. Is it
Yeah.
perfect? It's not. I say you're not selling out, you're buying in. So
Yeah.
buy in. Buy
Right.
in. You know what I mean? What's the worst that can happen? You're just gonna
Right.
have
Well,
fun.
I think, yeah, I totally agree with you. And it get the biggest thing about social media and all the stuff that's happened in the last 15 years or so is it's made actors. I've always been tech savvy. Obviously, you have too. And so I mean, I remember the first iPhone, and I was like shooting stuff going, gosh, come on, render. But the point is that what happens is that you start understanding that you have more control over your career. And
Yes.
honestly, how many actors do you know that only do in front of the camera? I mean, they're not as they're not as easy to work with because they don't understand eye lines or they don't understand lenses or
Yeah.
learn as much as you can. And you know how to get your feet wet on that one? Pick your phone out. Shoot something. Who cares? Because look, if there's content creators making $20 million a month, not showing off their body, and they're getting views because I have a silver, whatever you call it, a silver YouTube button because we had
Uh-huh.
100,000. The point is that
Awesome.
the
Yeah.
learning that I got out of that, and I knew a lot of it, but thumbnails and descriptions, and I'm a SEO. I'm from the '90s, a certified optimizer. Now I'm becoming an AEO, which is
Woohoo.
of course the LLM stuff and
Yeah.
the chat GPTs because you really need to understand the problem with acting, and this is my opinion, is that you know that ladder they say you should climb? We're the dirt on the ground that the
Right.
ladder is. And I don't mean that to be derogatory. Well, okay, I do. But the only way for you to gain entry and keep going higher is the more you know, the better you are. If you're
Right.
just sitting there waiting on a bar stool in West Hollywood with your legs showing, you don't want to say my legs, and hoping someone's going to come in and discover you, bad news. It ain't
Right.
your dad's industry anymore.
That is very, very true. Which should be freeing. I mean, and it's really like you can really take it in your own hands and make it something great. A little tip, if you're like an actor and you own a business, for example, you can create you can create a vertical series and launch it on Instagram. We've done it for one of our clients who's an actor
Great
but also a
idea.
lawyer. His Instagram handle for the show went to 200,000 followers, and he sold the show to this Argentinian network. But not only that, because he's a lawyer, and the vertical series was about like a lawyer in New York that is like fighting injustice and ICE and all that stuff. His phone will not stop ringing for
Wow.
business. So there's
Yeah, it's
many
a good
ways
thing.
there are many ways that you can do vertical series that can also benefit you if you are a business owner and an actor, a therapist and an actor, all these different things that can
Yeah.
really, really,
Your hobby and an actor, your hobby. I
Right.
mean,
It's really, there's a lot of ways to distribute that are not only doing soap operas, etc. So if you want to do something like that, you can.
yeah,
With AI right now, you can put a landing page and unlock all episodes or put them behind a paywall within a day, right? So,
if not
and it's all
less.
about growing an audience. So there's so many ways to distribute your work right now. It's not only YouTube and Vimeo and then
No.
hope that your audience grows or Kickstarter or whatever. You can truly do this.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'll close this out here in a second with the one
Yeah.
last question. But I want to say two things on what you said. Number one, advertisers now, you know this, are going and starting their own production companies. They
Yep.
want content because they're
Yep.
realizing that if you go, I like these glasses because they look good on me, you're going,
Yeah.
boom, I just clicked off you because you're not real. That's why UGC is
Right.
user generated content, which I used to do back in COVID and made 2 grand a week because I'm
Wow.
an expert at UGC and all the hooks and everything. And so I'm saying that because, man, what an experience. I learned so much on, dealing with people and human. But
Yeah.
if advertisers are now getting involved in this and you're putting your stuff out there, that is another great sign that you should be doing something, connecting it to something. Also,
Yeah.
I say to actors, stop asking me how much money you're going to make with it and start asking me where it's going to propel your career.
Right.
Because if you can make something and it's not going to cost you much money. I mean, even with your company, you want to get it done and you don't want to take 6 months to a year. You
Right.
want to get it done, get it out there. So that way, when Ryan Gosling or whatever is looking and they're going, ooh, I want a Will Roberts or guy in my next series, then you're going to be there because they'll see you. And because, again, out of
Can you hear
sight,
me?
out of mind. Yeah, I heard you. I
Thank you.
saw your
I'm
finger
actually
going.
I actually have a Yahtzee calling me on the other line. I'm gonna
Okay, go. All right. Look, I'll talk about you
I
more and it'll all be good. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to
Yeah.
you later. Thank
Yes,
you.
brother. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
So everybody, while I'm left on the call here, he's going to hang up. There we go. Go to howtoselftape.com. I have plenty of stuff on there you can check out. It's howtoselftape.com. And when you go there, you can get a free membership. Try it out. You can use your teleprompter with voices, not AI voices. I've got a clever little thing that I did. And who reads better than you? That's my hint. And then on top of that, we've got scene analysis, audition tracker, just a bunch of stuff. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun. Have a great day.